Okay, here's our video on decimal place value. Dealing with decimals. What was that? Oh, Mach 5. Mach 5 from Speed Racer. Alright, so we know decimals, right? Here's a decimal and a whole number, 12.8. So we have 12.8. 12 is the whole number, and 6.6 is the decimal. So we have place value. So the 1, remember, in the whole number, when we did the whole numbers, that's in the tens place. And the 2 is in the ones place. So what do you think the 6 is? What do you think that 6 is? Remember, it's a decimal. It's the first number after the decimal. It's in the 10th, the TH, 10th place, right? So when you say it, make sure you cover your mouth so you don't spit on anyone. So it's the 10th place. Good. So this is 12.6. And something about decimals you should know is they're like fractions. They are fractions. 12 and 6/10. That's the same thing. It's the same thing. So in decimals, the first place value is the 10th place, not the 1th place. There's no such thing as a 1th place. Okay? So here we have 12.0. Now, you don't have to use, there's nothing in there. It's 0, right? There's nothing here. So you can just say 12. You don't have to put 12.0. Well, if you want to, you could put it, but you can just say 12. But here you have to put the 0 because there's a whole number afterwards. If you see a number greater than 0 after the decimal, you have to put the 0 there. So if you saw 12.0000, well, you don't need all those zeros, right? You could just say 12. But if you saw this, if you saw 12.000009, well, you have to keep all those zeros because there's a whole number greater than 0 at the end. So you have to keep it. Right? So let's look at this large number we made. We already know that these are the whole numbers. Anything to the left of the decimal, these are the whole numbers. And all of these are the decimals. So let's write that over. We have 12.000009. We can look at all the place values. Again, we know the whole numbers already. We know that's in the tens with an S and the ones. This is the 10th place. We talked about that. So it goes like this. It goes 10th, 100th, 1000th, all with TH. Remember the TH at the end. Just remember that TH. Again, 10th, 100th, 1000th, 10,000th, 100,000th, and then we go into millionths, right? One more time. And all you have to do is just practice this and you'll get it. So again, 10th, 100th, 1000th, 10,000th, 100,000th, millionth. And it repeats with the 10th and the 100th. So you can have 10 millionth, 100 millionth, and then it gets into billionths. So that keeps going. So just practice that you know that that's the 10th, 100th, 1000th, 10,000th. Sounds like I have ellipse, sorry. 100,000th and millionth. Okay? So you'll get that down. That's easy. So let's look at this. This is 0.003. I need those zeros there because why? Why do you think I need all those zeros there? Why can't I just say 0.3? Well, I can't just say 0.3. It's a different decimal. 0.3 is 3/10. It's in the 10th place. But 0.0003 is not 3/10. We need that 3 there. So remember, there's a number after all those zeros, so we have to keep that zeros. You have to keep the zeros there. So if you look at the place value, let's look at the place value. We have the 10th place. 10th place. And then we have the hundredths. Let's see if it fits. Hundredth. Just fits. Then we have the thousandth. Right? And the 10,000th. So if you know the place value, what's the last place value you use? 10,000. So then you can make the fraction. There it is. 3/10. That is that. So again, find the last place value, 10,000. Put it in the denominator and put the number you see without the zeros, unless the zeros are afterwards, in the numerator. Okay? What is that, Mach 3 again? Well, the Mach 5, sorry. That's the Mach 5. Well, we're doing 3, so we'll call it the Mach 3. Anyway, so we said that 0.3 is 0.3. You don't have to put that 0 there. Many people do. Many students put, like, 0.5 is really just 0.5. You don't really need that 0 there. But if you want to keep it there. Right? And another thing we should remember is, remember I said that when we do multiplication, we'll do that little dot. And make sure the dot's up. Not down here. You don't want it to look down here because then it looks like a decimal. But you'll get used to that. So, again, I said decimals could be fractions. So let's look at this. Decimals to fractions. 0.4, it's in the 10th place. 4/10. And you can reduce this. Remember, when you reduce, we'll talk about reducing fractions. Right? So, look at the place value and you can make the fraction. So how would you do 0.5? What's the fraction of 0.5? It's in the 10th place, right? Not tens, 10th. So it's 5/10. All right. So how about this one? How about 0.05? How would you write that as a fraction? How would you write 0.05 as a fraction? So again, here's the steps. Find the last place value. Let's look. 10th, 100th. The last place value is 100th. It's in the hundredths. So make the fraction. Here's the fraction bar, and in the denominator we'll put 100. Now in the numerator, you're not putting 0.5. You're only putting 5. Don't put any zeros in, unless they come after. Right? So we can do a couple of these. See if you can do these. Make these fractions. Make these fractions. See what you can do. Pause the tape. Alright, so let's look. We have 0.04, which is 4/10. Or is it 4/100ths? What do you think? Bring it down. It's in the hundredth, so it's 4/100th. Right? Always double check your work. 4/100ths. This is 4/1000th. In the 1000th place. This is 4/10,000th. It's in the 10,000th place. And this one's tricky. It's 104/10,000th. We have to keep every number. We're keeping the 0. We have a number. It's 104, right? So you keep every number that makes sense to you. 0104 is not a number that makes sense, right? Don't put the 0 there. But you have to put the 0 there because it's 104. So look at that a little bit. Okay. Here's our decimal. 1.20934. What place is the 9 in? What's the place? So we're going to talk about place. We talked about this in whole numbers and the value. Bring that down. So the place, it's in the what place? It's in the 1000th place. And what's its value? So we know the place, it's in the 1000th place, and the value would be 9,000. You can write it like that, 9,000. Or you can write it in English, whatever way you want. But if on the quiz, if I say make it a fraction, well, you'll write it like that, right? So again, the place is where it stands. It's in the 1000th place. And the value is 9,000. I'll circle a number, and you tell me, what's the place and value of the 4? Okay, well, just count if you get confused. We have 10th, 100th, 1000th, 10,000th, 100,000. So we know we're going to have 100,000th. So the place it's in the 100,000th place, and its value is 400,000. Just the 4 itself, not the whole number. Just the 4 itself. Now let's look at this whole number again. Let me write it over here. 1.20934. How would you write that number as a fraction? It's a little tricky. Well, we got a whole number here, so we got to keep that whole number, make that whole number big. The whole numbers are not going to be part of the fraction. it's going to be 1. So write the whole number in the numerator. Bring that over there. So we're going to have a 1, and let's count the places. Right? We have 10th, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. There it is. Now we did expanded form with whole numbers. We can do them with decimals. Okay, and we'll do more of this in the next video. So again, with expanded form, we're going to say this is now in the thousands place, not thousandth, but the thousands with the S. So this is 1 times 1,000. 1 times 1,000, put it in parentheses. Plus, we have 2, see we're doing the dot. Now in your workbook, you might see the X still, but we have to get used to that dot. 2 times, this is in the, 2 is in the hundredths, right? So it's 100. And I'll do 5's in the tens place, and the 9's in the ones. See if you can do the rest. See if you can do the rest. Okay, well, we don't have to do anything with 0, because 0 is nothing. So we can start with the 3. 3 times, and now here's where you make a fraction. It's in the hundredth place, so it's 3 times 100th. 3 times 100th. Now again, we don't need anything in the thousandth place, but the 10,000th place has a 4, so we're going to say plus, we're going to say 4 times 1/10,000th. Okay, and we'll do more with expanded form in the next video. So, great job.